Already being chastised. I said, we're on video, so I'll suck in my beer gut, and you started giggling.
It's more like a vodka gut.
1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Psh, proud of that. 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty.
We're joined by State Senator John Milkovich in studio, and I know it was a late night for you, just back from the special session. Thanks for coming in.
Great to see you, Erin and Robert.
Okay, so the deal is done. $99 million from the rainy day fund. What's the official name? I always forget.
It's the what is it called?
Budget Stabilization
There you
Fund.
go.
Rainy days.
Rainy day fund. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
there's
call it the ribeye fund.
now. John Bell originally wanted 119, which was the max because you can only take 1/3. Then he came down to 99. There's a bunch of Republicans saying, we had Mr. Seabaugh on yesterday, saying, my number's 50. I might go to 75. But then there's a whole bunch of Republicans, Allen included, who jumped onto the 99 at the last minute. Tell us why. What did the governor give to get all the Republicans except for 5 or 6 to go along?
Well, and actually, you're asking me to read people's minds. I don't know exactly why they agreed to it, but this is a situation where our state tax revenues are down from what was expected, about that creating a $360 million deficit between now and the end of the fiscal year, which is June 30th, 2017, and the administration proposed cuts of about $180 million. And using $120 million of state savings. So basically, in order to bridge the deficit gap between now and the end of the year, the governor's office proposed a package that included $120 million of state savings. And as you know, the legislature ultimately approved using $99 million of our state savings. Plus,
you voted against doing that.
You voted nay.
You were one of 2 senators to do that, correct?
Absolutely. This is my concern. I believe that our principles as Americans, as taxpayers, and as families is that we only use savings if we have to. The more savings, the better. And the greater the crisis, the greater the need. And we are we've been through a significant fiscal challenges, but we're facing a potential fiscal demolition derby ahead. So I believe that we should have saved our savings and made more cuts. And I did make some proposals on the floor of the Senate to do some more things so that we could get through this deficit without using our state savings. So what was the picture? What was the attempt? Basically, save our state savings, make more cuts in the size of state government, so that we can, in the future, cut taxes and allow our small businesses to
The
prosper.
Republicans on the House side, I think their explanation will be, and you can give me more detail because it's still a little blurry in my limited mind.
You may know more about it than I do.
About the percentage. God, what did Doty tell us last hour? Help me out with that.
It was the state treasurer's fund. She talked about how they're going to now, that money's going to come out of the state treasurer's
that they've
fund.
just been ignoring the law for nigh on 2 decades, and the governor's deal was we will start actually enforcing what is mandated by law that we do, i.e. setting aside monies that should have been set aside all along to pay down the debt or at least the state bond debt.
Yeah, it's actually complicated, and potentially, if you ask 6 legislators to explain it, you'd get 12 different.
Close?
I think you were. My understanding is that the treasurer is going to start taking money out of statutorily dedicated funds and apply a small percentage of that money towards the state debt. So these statutorily dedicated funds for bridges or projects or highways or convention centers, a small part of that would be going to the state debt, and that would potentially free up more of the state general fund. But this is my concern, Robert and Erin, is that we have about $228 million of sales tax revenues that will expire in about 16 months. The Senate Revenue Chairman, or the Chairman of the State Revenue Committee, stated that we're looking at a deficit of $1.2 billion in the near future. He said that on the floor of the Senate. My deal is, let's save our savings because we're going to need them more.
It's going to get worse.
It's going to get worse. And what we did is we had $360 million worth of savings. As of yesterday, we have $260 million. We've reduced our savings $100 million. I believe we could have made more cuts reduce the size of government, cut.
Tell me where the cuts are going to fall. Pretty much are your constituents going to feel any of these cuts?
I don't think that the cuts are going to be devastating. The final deal for the public-private partnership kept them just about where they are now, and that was very important to me because our public-private partnerships are operating on very thin margins. And listen, I think this is what we need to do as legislators. We need to look at where the state is heavily funded, where we're not really getting the bang for the buck, where the dollars are not really proportional to the amount of services and value that we're getting, and make cuts there. Our safety net hospitals are one of the best bargains in the state of Louisiana.
Speaking of, should more cuts have come from Health and Human Services? With their, what is it, like a $12 billion budget or something?
It's a huge budget. I am actually going forward going to undertake a more methodological review of the Department of Health and saving or budget to see if there can be more cuts made there. I believe there can. But a few of the things that we talked about, and that actually I proposed from the floor of the Senate, was number one, we love our LSU flagship university, but the LSU systems in the state of Louisiana, while they've been telling us that they're going broke, and that they need more cash and that we're devastating them, and they're actually, in 2015, they said they were going to declare an academic bankruptcy plan. The Louisiana Legislative Auditor has determined that they have $930 million in current assets. That's cash, accounts receivable, short-term accounts and instruments and investments. So my thought is, look, instead of the state taking out 1/3 of its savings, could we ask the LSU system to use maybe 3.2% of their cash reserves to get through the end of the fiscal year? That would have saved $30 million.
Didn't happen?
Did not happen.
Let me ask you this, John, because
tell you what, you want to go to break? We can hang. Mr. John can hang out for the next segment.
Yeah, think about this while we're at break. Did your kind of lone wolf vote? Could that have an impact on our region? Think about that a minute. We'll take a break first.
Okay. Hold thine breath, Senator. 24 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. And State Senator John Milkovich is here for another couple of minutes.
And here's my question I asked you before the break.
Are we going to get in trouble because we voted against using up our savings?
Yeah, you and Senator Barrow Peacock, he's going to join us in a few minutes. You two voted against it, and is the governor going to be mad at you? Are we going to lose some things for our area?
I hope not. But I think I think we need to take a stand, and I think we sent a message. And I think there's a lot of legislators that understand why we voted the way we voted.
What was the message?
And that's, we need to cut spending, we need to reduce government, we need to lower taxes, we need to grow our state savings account, not cut it. We need to keep our state savings account because we're headed towards greater fiscal challenges.
That's what most of your constituents feel, don't you think?
Yes, I do.
Cut state government.
Pardon me, that's what most of what we thought the Republicans in the legislature felt. And I said to Erin we were texting last evening about the fact that the number settled on was John Bell's $99 million. And she said, well, all the Republicans went along except for a couple of guys in the Senate, you and Mr. Peacock and
Senator Peacock,
4 on the House side.
Right.
And I said to Erin, well, if John Bell could get all the Republicans to go along with this, makes you think a little bit differently about your DOA 23-cent a gallon gas tax increase, doesn't it? And she went, whoa, wait a second. I said, well, if he could get them to go along with this, whatever pressures he applied, whatever deals he made, Erin's term with Sean Wilson, with the governor even, has been, is the 23-cent a gallon gas tax idea dead on arrival when it goes to the legislature? And they would, well, yeah, we'll never get that because of those damn Republicans. Well, those damn Republicans just went along with the governor for $99 million.
To use up $99 million.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and listen, I'm not here to criticize the governor. He's a church-going family man, and he's a hard worker. He's accessible. I enjoy the opportunity to work with him. So this wasn't an anti-government vote for a governor vote for me. This was, let's cut spending, let's cut taxes, let's save our state savings vote, so that when we hit the next fiscal blow-up, we have some backup. Instead of, 2 days ago, we had $360 million in state savings. Now we have $260 million.
This morning, does John Bell, when he's looking at the rest of his legislative itinerary, if you will, Does he feel empowered?
Well, I think this is a big victory for the governor. But this is my concern. I think we still need to be concerned about the middle class, because who is paying the taxes in Louisiana? It's the small businesses, it's the professionals, it's the seniors, the soldiers, the vets, the nurses, the teachers, the police officers, ranchers, farmers, waitresses, welters, transmission shop owners. They are paying the taxes in Louisiana. It's not, and Barrow may disagree with me, but to a very small degree are the huge out-of-state corporations bearing the you and me, the people in this room, the people in the city, the people we go to church with, the people we go to ball games with, the people we went to high school with. They're paying the taxes in Louisiana.
Okay, let's just me and you talk just for a second.
Okay, I'll lean back. Hold on.
Just pretend nobody else is listening.
I got to go to the bathroom.
This is the tough question.
Yeah, you ready?
Okay.
Do you suspect some pretty high wheeling deals were made on the House side?
Well, I know that there was an ongoing negotiation. I'm definitely aware of that.
Oh, that's political speak. There was ongoing negotiation.
Oh, there was.
Were bridges promised? Were roads promised? Were things done like what? Alan Seabaugh just texted me. He voted for this and told us yesterday he won't go over $75 million. What was promised to somebody like Alan Seabaugh to vote for this? And I know you don't want to speak for him.
Well, I don't know.
Do you suspect things deals were promised?
I can't speculate because I don't know. And Senator Peacock may know more. I don't know what deals were.
Excuse me, Mr. John. So many Republicans. That's a lot of deals. That's a lot of promises. Nobody could make that many promises.
Oh, come on. Yeah, he could line them up. You need that Jimmy Davis Bridge, Alan? I'm going to work for you on that Jimmy Davis Bridge.
Okay, that's called over-promising.
Don't politicians do that every now and then?
Occasionally. Back to you.
Yeah, and I don't. The short answer is I don't know.
Did he know you were a no vote, so he never approached, probably? He knew you're never going to go for this?
No, I had some discussions with the governor, and as he always is, he was very candid, very direct, and I was with him also, and I respect the governor.
And you told him, I'm not going to vote for this.
Well, I told him that I had strong reservations about it, and I actually prepared a report of some proposals that we could use to get by the budget, bridge the budget deficit without using our state savings account. Was it the ultimate best approach? There may have been other people that could have improved it, had better ideas. But I thought it was important, since I am advocating that we increase state savings and spend less, that I at least come up with a proposal. I tried to do that, and I presented it to the governor and to the other legislators.
Senator John Milkovich, thanks for your time.
Hey, very good to be with you, Erin. And
Pleasure,
Robert,
Mr.
thank
John.
you so
Good to see
much.